Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hindsight Podcast. The Champions League returned and signaled the night of drama, euphoria, and disappointment for some teams. And of course, it's a pleasure to have the guys come back to have a great conversation as far as all the talking points go. We'd like to clarify Nyobong Monday and a new inclusion in Shola Adigun. Shola, it's good to have you because the last time I spoke to you extensively about anything football was as far back as 2018 or 2017, something like that. And Shola is actually a coach, so it's good to have an inside mind into the game. On the show. Shola, good to have you join us.
Thanks for inviting me. Huge fan of the show, been following you guys for a while now.
Thank you so much.
A pleasure to be on board.
Fantastic. Shola is a great guy, and
Shola is a coach, right?
He's a coach. we can say the teams you coach now. That's not. Is that contract bound? Or
No.
Great. Shola used to coach for Barcelona Academy in Lagos, and
brilliant.
Look, I speak to a lot of people that talk about football. You know, a lot of people know the game. But Shola is a great man in the game. He's not as what's the word, as extroverted as this gentleman here, luckily verified. But he does know the game. You know, you are extroverted, right?
Okay.
Have you done the personality test on Google?
Nah.
Have you done it?
No.
I hear. So have you done it?
Yeah.
You've done it, right? What's your personality?
Architect.
Architect, right? Right. Look, I know there are a lot of personalities, but I never remember. But I think I'm somewhere between. I think I'm an ambivert, something like that. I don't know. It's just something like that. But you should do it because I hear that a lot of employers nowadays actually they send you the 16 personalities to take the test and send back to them when they're trying to hire you, which is interesting. I feel like algorithms are too small to figure out a human being, but in the end it works. Good to have you back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was great time out in New York. Been a while I was there, but it was quite great to be in the stadium for the match day. There was a feeling of excitement in the city. I know, even though by the time the game started, that excitement was a bit muted because of the quality that the opponent brought. But it was just great to see fans at the stadium. It was good to have people and I tell you, fans in that stadium, almost everybody was a coach. You know, everybody was backing instructions of the touchline. It was quite a great feeling to see that, but great to be back in the chaotic city of Lagos.
How do you deal with that, Shola? How do you deal with people putting input into your game? How do you deal with people wanting to tear down an extensive week of work on the training pitch?
Basically, you ignore it. There's so many voices. You can't listen to everybody.
Right.
So that's why you have assistants. That's why you have maybe a superior if you are not the head coach.
Right.
You talk amongst yourself. If anything, you speak to the players. But as for the fans, you have to ignore the noise.
Right.
Basically.
You kind of sound like Tuchel. Sounds like Tuchel. It would be great to come closer to the mics just so we can have every bit of your voice. Good to have you back.
Yeah,
because last week we spoke on the group. By the way, we have a group, the Hindsight Podcast, right? And he said I didn't give him enough props. So I'm giving you your props now.
No, but I was joking though.
Yeah, you weren't actually. I know you very well. You were not.
Right, so let's get into the Champions League. And shouts to Nee, by the way. We actually had an overcast today. That's and what I mean is that normally we have 4 people on the podcast. We thought this man was in New York, and he eating
a funk somewhere?
I thought he was in New York. And the logistics for
the old boys are fine.
Warn yourself. Basically we had an overcast, and
one of these days I'm going to come with a pot of it.
It's cool.
And just because
meat is expensive now. It's crazy.
It's long overdue.
Look, I was starting to cook when prices went up. You know when I moved into my new place. You know, it has a nice kitchen and everything. So I was starting to cook properly.
See this what he did. Brand.
Husband material.
It's a nice kitchen. Right?
That material.
Husband material 14,000 yards.
I tell you what. I went from an apartment where there was no kitchen in my first apartment, right? It's funny how Lagos landlords build houses. How do you build a house and you don't make a space for kitchen? So the new place I got, has a nice kitchen. And I was just about to, I'm going to cook for myself and all that stuff. Mom is giving me tips, and I went to buy non-stick pots and all that stuff. And that's how I went to the market to go and buy meat. Meat costs too. Meat costs gone. But no, let's get into our topics of conversation. Let's start off with the Champions League. I wanted to start with UNE, and clearly United are the biggest talk of the town. Ronaldo back at the club, everything is, worked well in the first match day. And up until the 15 minutes, things worked really good. Ronaldo opened another goal. Sadly, I took that game out of my my ticket. I called you immediately. Ronaldo scored. But, I mean, it was a shambles.
Yeah.
I think a couple of teams, actually, I think many teams, or 4 teams, got red cards on match day 1 in the Champions League. United were the only ones that found a way to lose that game. And it just brought back instantly the one thing that the club have been trying to run away from, Ole out.
Yeah, and it's when that happened, and after the results, what I was thinking was, and it's not good to always do comparisons because sometimes contextually it may not be right. But on the day, I was thinking, if Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City were playing against young boys of Bern and had a man sent off, will it be backs against the wall? Would they be in that situation where they were open to attack, susceptible to attack? I don't think so, because I personally think Man City will dominate the game all through. I don't think young boys will have a touch on the ball. I don't think, even with Chelsea,
if for anything, it will reduce the amount of goals they score.
Exactly, but what they would do is that they will control the game more,
and hide the ball,
understanding that we are not with the full complement of our squad. But what I saw with the United, it was just 6s and 7s. It didn't look like United had a control over the game. And then for Ole, it's quite sad because I think he's a good manager, but he's not a top manager. I just feel that in a game like that needed proper game management, he didn't quite do that. And so, his substitutions on the day were absolutely atrocious.
We'll talk about that. Myself and you talk a lot about managers also playing the game, right? So there are times where ultimately players do all the work, and I think we'll speak to Shola shortly about that. Players are the ones that go and execute the system and everything like that, but there are times where managers have to literally also play the game from the touchline. And if there is any criticism about Ole, it's the fact that when push comes to shove, and I think I made this point a month ago, when push comes to shove, Klopp will play the game with his players.
Yeah.
He'll read the game. He'll make the subs that he thinks will affect the game. Jose Mourinho will do that all day. Pep does that as well. Conte does that. Tuchel, I think at the moment he's like, King Kong as far as tactical, reading the game and stuff. Ole is the one guy who you sense that once he puts the team out, and for some reason they don't score first, that's game, set, and match.
Yeah.
So I want to speak to you about that. When a team goes a goal down, right? What you expect is that because these people are professional, they simulate a couple of scenarios on the training pitch, right? We play with 11 men, which is standard. But if something happens and we lose one player, what do we revert to? It kind of felt like it was panic stations. Took out, when the red card came to Wan-Bissaka, took out Sancho, put in Dalot. Then second half, put in Varane in the team. It all looked like it was just patch up. There was no idea.
I feel like there was an idea, maybe not the best one. I think he wanted to see out the 1-0. I think that was the plan to try to see out the 1-0. That's why they went to a back 5. But basically, when you are one man down, what that does is now you have just 4 main attacking players, and which was the problem that they had. So it meant Ronaldo or Bruno or Pogba to do something super extraordinary if they were going to get anything out in attack, because it's just 4 of them basically playing against maybe 6-7 defenders. So I think the plan was to try to see out the 1-0 and just try and hold it and make it tight. I don't know if it was the best plan, since there was a long part of the game to still go on.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read out the timeline of substitutions. So 13 minutes, Ronaldo scores. 35 minutes, Wan-Bissaka gets a red card. 37 minutes, Dalot for Sancho happens. Halftime, Varane for Van de Beek. 66 minutes, of course, they bring in another player. They equalize. 72 minutes, Lingard for Ronaldo. The same 72 minutes, you have Matic for Fernandes. You have 89 minutes, Martial for Fred. So, if there's anything this timeline tells you is that the midfield was taken away. So how do you play a game without a controlling midfield? Because you're taking off Fred, you're taking off Van de Beek, who I think was having a good game.
Yes, he was.
So
for me, I think, and it makes sense because we have Shola here, who obviously is in the this thing. So I think the timeline that you read out for me shows substitution without a real plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wanted to see out the 1-0, but top coaches will look at that situation and say, we don't want to concede, but we also want to have an outlet.
Exactly.
To attack. So when you bring out Sancho, bring out Fernandes, bring out Ronaldo, bring out all these people, and then you play Martial, what exactly is the plan? What exactly is the plan for Martial? Who's supposed to get the ball to Martial? Is it Lingard? Does he do that better than Fernandes?
Because Lingard is an outlet as well.
Exactly, he's an outlet, but does he do that better than Fernandes? So for me, and even with the defensive part of the game, that's always my problem with Ole. I don't think he can coach a team. We saw Chelsea against Liverpool, red card situation. They stayed in the game. Even with the defensive part of the game against United, I mean, they were playing young boys. It felt like they were playing Bayern Munich on the day. With the way young boys really pegged them back and kept on pushing them. It wasn't, for me, I didn't even think the defensive part of the game was good because the crosses kept coming in. The passes kept coming in. They kept splitting United, so for me, I just feel like that part where the coach impacts the team, where you see that this team is compact because of what the manager has done over the years, just wasn't there.
So there's no rule book for how to play against 11 men.
Yeah,
it's a quality of the opposition.
Right.
So Chelsea are playing against Liverpool and they get a man sent off. They can't go toe to toe with Liverpool. They'll beat them silly.
Yeah.
If Chelsea were playing Crystal Palace and they got a man sent off, what Chelsea will be thinking is, we have to control this game. Now, Shola talks about wanting to see off the game, which is great. But guess what? If you keep the ball, it's impossible for the opponent to do anything without the ball.
Yeah. Right.
So as a big team, I'm expecting the manager to say, Bruno, this is a game for you.
But where I disagree
keep the ball, move it around, just make sure the opponent are tiring out.
Where I disagree with you, right, is United are not really a possession team before
obviously
now.
they are now.
But for me, why is that the case?
But you're playing against young boys.
Yeah. So
and you have Pogba, you have Bruno. And these are two of the most technically gifted midfielders in the world.
I agree. So this is something I have a problem with. People talk. A lot of people talk about modern football, and there is an overemphasis, in my opinion, on possession.
Yeah.
But what I expect a professional footballer playing for Manchester United is the least thing you could do is keep the ball.
Yeah,
know how to keep the ball, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to tell me that Fred cannot play the rondo, can't play, keep ball session, or Matis can't do that?
Yeah.
Or Bruno, so without express instructions from the coach.
Exactly.
So I don't think that the coach has to expressly say, obviously that's what he's paid for. Because the game is micromanaged nowadays to the letter. However, if you tell me that even a set of defenders like Varane, Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Dalot cannot play keep ball with young boys, then that's a disgrace.
No,
it is.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But you see what I'm coming to realize.
It's the bare minimum.
But you see what I'm coming to.
For a circumstance of that, like of that man.
What I've come to realize is that, top level professional footballer should be able to keep the ball naturally. But you see, in a team, if the team is not built upon being able to create triangles, being able to do give and goes, if it is not in their subconscious that this is how we play. Because before now, for me, United has always been, we get the ball, we get it to Pogba, we get it to Bruno Fernandes, and we get it to these people. That's how it has been. So as much as, as a professional, you're supposed to be able to keep the ball, but they are not.
It's not in their makeup.
It is not in their subconscious to be able to create those triangles and do those give and goes.
I think that's a great point.
Largely, yes. I think to some extent, if I was a Man United fan, the biggest fear I would have is that I don't think young boys actually played very well. And that's for me the biggest issue. They didn't play very well, and yet they were still able to get the win at the end of the day. And like you said, it's because Man United couldn't keep possession. And if it's against young boys, 10 men, you should still be able to keep some decent level of possession. Make them work for the ball as well. Make them sweat. Maybe they get tired. Exactly. You can find the gaps to have one or two good counter attacks. But surrendering possession completely the way United did.
You know my biggest issue, and I totally agree with you, but my biggest issue is this. Before now, Ole and United are better off when they are playing on the counter.
Exactly.
Very devastating. So why is it that you go one man down and then the players in your team that could have affected counter-attacking football the best
we're taken off?
We're taken out. Right. So just before we wrap up on Ole and United, I want to speak about Jadon Sancho, who I think I totally feel like I have to ask now officially when is
going on?
When is enough to
Do
call?
we need to unlock him too?
When is enough to call this guy out? Because
Please stop
I
it.
looked at this guy.
No, stop it. Stop it.
I don't do stereotypes. I don't do
I
cliches.
know you don't, but don't go there.
I've watched this guy for 4 games. I haven't seen one reason United have signed this guy for £75 million.
Well, hold on.
And look, I'd love to be proven wrong because I'm a United fan.
Yeah.
Right? And it'll make me really glad to see him play. Right? But when you play against Newcastle on a day like that in front of Old Trafford, I haven't seen this guy do one trick or drop his shoulder in a way that suggests that this guy is just top quality.
No, hold on.
What I have seen him do,
Okay.
look at the goal Lingard scored.
Yeah.
Like, that's what Sancho should be doing. What's happening? What's going on?
Hold on a second. I get it. My younger brother is a Man United fan and he's on the phone with me every day like, what the heck with this guy?
Does he want you to call Sancho?
I don't know.
Have you seen what Grealish is doing at City?
But hold on a second. People need to understand that Sancho was playing in a team where he was literally the godfather in the team. Everything.
Which godfather?
No, he was. He was. Everything. He was the godfather in the team. Everything went through him. He wasn't quite confined to a particular position where he was playing on either this, the wing or the. But at United, he has to be confined to a position.
I agree.
Because there are other people who are in a position to create. At Dortmund, he was the number 10.
So you're saying that?
I'm not making excuses.
Another one chance.
No, I'm not saying so.
I see you. They need to unlock him too. I see you're trying to land the plane.
No,
but you're landing very slowly.
what I think is, by the time he gets to know that I'm as important in this team as Bruno, because all of a sudden, pressure. Hold on, pressure can bring out the best in a player. So United are attacking, and most of the time, maybe they make 10 incursions into the attacking the defensive opposition, and 7 of the times the ball was given to him. By the time he starts to feel that pressure of they want me to do something,
right?
Maybe that brings out the best from him. But for now, the team is built around Bruno Fernandes.
I think you make a fantastic.
I think the team is built around Bruno Fernandes.
I think it's the same point. I think he's still cold.
Yeah.
If that's the right word to use. He's not warmed up. So he doesn't feel like it depends on me to make it happen. As opposed to when he's at Dortmund. So, however, having said that, I think when you make the biggest move of your career, you don't have to wait for the players around you to say
you need to go and get it.
You need to go and get it.
Yeah.
Look, Rooney walked into a team. I'm trying to compare Rooney and Sancho.
Yeah.
When Rooney walked into United
he was 18.
United knew Rooney and walked in, right? More so when you have left City and you've gone to Dortmund and you've made a fantastic comeback. You know for sure this is the biggest move of your career. You have to take the bull by the horn.
Yeah, I agree.
This idea that he has to be shoehorned into the team,
no,
I don't.
Because personalities, you hold on. We talk about personalities. We talk about players who get into the team, and I'm sorry, I'm wearing an Arsenal jersey. Tomiyasu made his debut for Arsenal against Norwich. Hold on, he wasn't quite fit. Hold on, he wasn't quite fit because he's come all the way from Japan after qualifier. He had to be taken off the game because he was having cramps and all of that, jet lag and all. But he plays 60-something minutes. And in 60-something minutes, he was not hiding. Players are not the same. Jadon Sancho is not the biggest of personalities. And I'm talking character-wise. He's a great player. He's an absolutely amazing footballer with the ball at his feet. So, in a club like that, a club like Manchester United, you would expect people like Bruno, people like Pogba to snap him out of where he is at the moment, because at the moment, hold on a second. At the moment, he's in a place where he just feels things need to just happen for me. But I agree when you say for that price tag, for
not even the price tag.
For the boss, about
the price is the price. The price is determined by the market. For what you have gone through to go, come back, want to prove a point.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, I want to see him demand the ball. That's
where I was going. That's where I was going.
Take a guy on. What I don't. this is my number one criteria, and I think Shola, talk about this. If I were a coach, one of the biggest criteria for me putting an attacking player in my team is the attacking player must eliminate opposition.
Yes.
Once they give you the ball, and 8 out of 10 times as a winger, you pass the ball back to
Come on.
We are going to have a problem.
No.
Because
it drives me crazy.
You don't see the defender letting the player pass all the time. When we give you the ball, your specifics are to eliminate
Adama Traore.
Eliminate the position.
Adama Traore gets on the ball.
Eliminate
The
that guy.
next thing
Only
he turns.
direction is position.
He turns.
By hook or
He
crook.
looks at you.
I'm going
Let's
this
go.
direction.
I'm going
You want to follow me or you want to get out of my
This is
way?
where I'm going.
This is where I'm
Let's
going.
go.
Do you want to follow me
Or you want to
or
get
you want
out?
to get out?
But no, I think I want to say something about Sancho.
I'm a big fan of the guy, and
I think we had that conversation on Twitter.
Yes,
and I said, look, the guy United needed was Grealish 2 years ago.
I felt it was Sancho. I still do think Sancho is a better fit for United. But the thing about Sancho is, in his first season at Dortmund, he didn't start great. Even last season at Dortmund, he also didn't start great.
Injury.
So it feels like maybe there's that factor there where he might be a slow starter to the season. And then he gets better as the season goes.
Possible.
And also, he's at Manchester United. It's not Dortmund, it's not Germany, it's not Man City's youth. It's at Manchester United. This is big leagues. So there will be some elements of pressure on him. Also, Ronaldo has come into the team and everybody's attention now is on Ronaldo.
Yeah, exactly.
So it might take him a while, but I'm sure at the end of this season, people will look and say, okay, yes, Sancho has arrived.
Right, fantastic. I love that.
I hope.
Yeah,
I love
brilliant.
that. I love
That is
that.
brilliant. I agree.
I think the players who work with will love you. Because you put a good front in the media, right?
Don't worry. I understand.
Don't worry, I
These
get
people
it.
might not get you,
get it.
but I understand what you're going through, and I trust in you. I believe you.
Yep.
Monsieur
Great stuff.
Arsene.
So hi there. Thanks for watching us on YouTube. Please leave a subscribe on the channel, The Hindsight Podcast, and also on Instagram at The Hindsight Podcast. It's the same on Twitter as well. Leave a like, a retweet, or a comment. We'll see you soon.